Welcome back, Draconis spies. All systems are no, my goodness. So apparently, it is, of course, June 15th, the third week of June, and it looks like the Draconis are not playing around. They might have been put onto low morale, but they are not about to let that stop them. We have 3 missions this week against each one of our lances. Looks like we have a probe today with Firebrand lance, my unfortunate cludged together lance, a stand-up for Big Sky, and a hold the line for my central lance. So, lots of stuff to do this week. Well, the good news is, as long as our allies don't suicide too many of their mechs into the enemy lines, we might actually be able to win ourselves back into their good graces, even if we can't manage to actually rout these suckers, which is looking a little more difficult day by day. In any case, since we do have a mission today, and we do have a lot of missions this week, let's see if my infantry unit, under the command of... did I even give a nickname? Let's see here. It was Rima Idris Slayer. Under the command of Rima Slayer Idris, our company of... or is this platoon? Platoon of riflemen may be able to provide us with some recon that will ease our troubles for this week. So let's go ahead and give that a roll. On a 6 plus, by which I mean a 6, there's no modifiers on this, they can allow us to count one of these as an automatic win. We wouldn't get any salvage or XP, but we wouldn't have to fight it either. Let's see if that's even an option. Buggerins. Well, 1 out of 6 weeks, you know? 1 out of 6 weeks. Not this week, though. So we've got a lot on our plate. And since there's not much that I need to do decision-making wise, well, there's a little bit. Well, actually, no. I was gonna say I would need to make some decisions about like which one of these I can go hard on, which ones I can go soft on, but really the answer is all of them have similar conditions. I've got to for my first one, I got to destroy 1/4 of the enemy while having less than 1/4 of my own destroyed. And 5 days from now, I've simultaneously got to destroy 50% while keeping 50%, and destroy half while having less than 1/3. That one's going to be tough, but fortunately, that's Central Lance, some of my best members. But since there's not much thinking to be done there, it's just a matter of fight, fight, fight. Let's... Oh, brief talk. So, we got some excellent repairs in, but unfortunately, like I said, that shoulder is just going to not be fixed until the new arm comes in. Now, I think that new arm is coming in fact, might already have come in, but we just don't have the time to detach that arm and place it back on this week, at least not until the Sassy has been into battle, which unfortunately is going to happen on the 20th. Well, actually, since that's 5 days, depending on how things turn out here, we might be in good shape. Now, one problem we do have is that 2 of our personnel, Sassy and Hog, are still injured after those headshots that they took during their last mission. But looks like his right arm cuts will be good in 4 days, and her right arm cuts will be good in 3 days. I got cuts on the same kind of wound. Interesting. Anyway, their cuts should be healed by the time they go on a mission, because neither of them are on Firebrand Lance. Firebrand Lance is still built of the same units it was. We've got Happy and a Crusader, Genie and a Dervish, Icicle and her Wasp that we're still trying to get her a replacement for, and Wolverine, who desperately needs some experience, and a Dagger. Quick check on you, Wolverine. Do you have enough experience, XP to actually, like... Oh, I think you might. Right before going into battle, you might actually be able to up something. So if I remember correctly, yeah, first tier costs only 5 XP. So the question is what? Your piloting mech is garbage, which means that you can end up in situations like you did last mission, where if you get knocked over, you're just not going to get up. It sucks. On the other hand, gunnery is the name of the game. Well, it's not. It's Battletech. But if you can get shots on chumps, you can knock them out before they can knock you on your ass. Offense over defense, a little bit. So I don't know. I don't really think that's a tough call. I think that we need to up her gunnery first, at least until she can get into the 4 range. That's at least moderate chances, normal training, and from there we can kind of work backwards to get her piloting up to speed. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and invest 5 XP in getting her gunnery up to 5, so her shots are just a little bit better. She's still a private, because she's still a green, but, you're working your way up in the world, kid. You're 27, you're not a kid. Anyway, but with that out of the way, there's not much more we can do to prepare for this. Let's take a look at... God damn it. God damn it. Alright, the Lyrans are continuing to send me their cast-off brigade. We've got 2 Wasp 1As. That's going to be a 20-ton mech that's focused on speed, and they're 1As, so they're going to be carrying an SRM-2 and a medium laser, and, not even enough armor to stop a large laser. And what's the enemy bringing? They're also bringing a Wasp 1A. Alright, that's not too bad. Oh, goodness. This is actually... Alright, so, we've got a Wasp 1A. That's a light mech, not too worried about that. However, the rest of the enemy force consists of a grasshopper. Don't let that name fool you. That is a jump-jetting heavy mech that's packing a fair number of large and medium lasers. Yeah, medium, large. It's got enough heat sinks, too, to be able to take it, as I recall. We'll get a better look at that guy in a moment when we're on the actual mission map. A Hunchback 4G, AC-20. I'm scared of that. I am scared of that. A Blackjack, which is a medium jumping mech. And then they've got another half a unit. They've got a Commando and a Panther, both light mechs, so not too intimidating on their own, and supported by a Scorpion and a Scimitar, also not too intimidating on their own. Problem that we have here, these light mechs are... this is 6 mechs that we have going up against our 4, and one of ours is a light mech. And, so 3 of theirs are also light mechs, but goodness, we are heavily outgunned on this mission. Whew, it's gonna be nasty. Now, we only need to destroy 1/4 of the enemy forces, but we lose if we lose only 1/4 of ours. Since we've got 6 guys, that means 2 units. 2 units down is a loss for us. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have to take out, 2 units of theirs. So it's the first of 2 units, And maybe the Scimitar will go all crazy-like and zoom up on us. In fact, that's interesting. Oh, God. Okay. Lieutenant, junior grade, Sheila Salami. I know I gave you, a background about, being demi-good, capable in simulations of classrooms, of figuring out, decent tactics and strategy and where to face the enemy. Not fucking here. Wetlands, wooded swamp, pitch black. First off, wetlands, mud everywhere, slows down vehicles badly, but slows down mechs also. Wooded swamp, that's going to be a swamp that's got lots of tree cover. Might be not too bad, that's, woods ain't so awful, but the swamp part of it, once again, means that we're slowed down, and if we try to hurry up, we gotta make piloting checks, which one of your team members is absolute garbage at. And pitch black? Now you can't see shit, none of you can shoot anything, and one of your members is once again effectively useless because she can't hit the broadside of a damn barn. It's a problem for certain. And one that there's not a lot of good options to handle. We could re-roll the wetlands, but that's only going to solve, that could cause as many problems as it solves. We could re-roll the pitch black, but, well, let's think about it. The pitch black does kind of protect us. We'd be moving slow and not able to shoot far. We'd move so slow and not be able to shoot so much, especially with the initial guys that come out, since our initial group is pretty short-range mechs. In fact, all of our guys are kind of short-range mechs. That by the time we actually engage something, the enemy will be able to push up hard and surround us with all of their weight advantage. I think that the only real option is to re-roll the pitch black and just deal with the wetlands. So, let's just give that a shot. Well, it's daylight, and let's see how we can. Let's see what we can do with that. I think I still got the bings fixed. I hope I still have the bings fixed. Are we starting? Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, so this is what I'm talking about with us being heavily outtunned. We have 195 tons, supported by 40. 230 altogether. They've got 70 tons on us, and a lot of it is in better quality mech. The 70-ton Grasshopper with a 3-4 pilot, a veteran pilot. The closest veteran we have is in a Dervish, and that Grasshopper is packing 4 medium lasers and a large laser and has the heat sinks to fire them. Pretty constantly, I might add. So, that's not a great situation. Not to mention it's got jump jets, so it's going to be ridiculously maneuverable even in this swamp. The Hunchback is, of course, a very classic mech, packing the AC-20 and 2 medium lasers. And it's also got support from a Blackjack that also has jump jets. This one, well, it's got 4 medium lasers, but enough heat sinks to fire a fair number of them, along with a pair of AC-2s that it can use to snipe at long range. Once again, I'm not super concerned with AC-2s, but if you've got enough of them. The Panther is an interesting addition, because this is a light mech that's focused around a single gun. It is a light mech that packs a PPC. It sacrifices movement heavily for this. It's a light mech that moves like a heavy, but it's also got jump jets, which means that it's going to be able to give us problems quickly in this swamp too. Now we've got 3 units with jump jets ourselves, but the enemy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does the commando? No, commando doesn't, but they've got 6 of theirs that can jump jet on us. And back that up with, well, this scorpion's going to get stuck in the mud, but this scimitar should be able to rush forward. It doesn't give a shit. So we're in trouble. We are absolutely in trouble. Okay, best plan for this mission. Focus up all of our forces in one corner. Probably try to let the enemy come to us somewhat. They don't have anything that's exceptionally long ranged. Their Grasshopper has a large laser, but so do, well, okay, we have a large laser, but it's on our noob. But they shouldn't be able to do a heck of a lot with that. Their Blackjack has AC-2s that could be some sniping problems. But with their Wasps, and their Panther, I bet that they're going to try to jump towards us quickly. And once they get close to us, we can kind of just snipe at them as they come in. So we'll bundle up in a corner. We'll try to take them as they come. That plan has been torpedoed immediately because I have these wasps. So instead, we have to follow these wasps in. We have to try to pick our targets for wherever they decide to get engaged, and hope that we can knock out 2 of the enemies before these guys get turned into pulp. Ah. If this is a short map, I hope it's not because all of my guys got head capped. Alright, most of the enemy have to deploy first, so let's see where they land. Ugh. Well, it's a swamp, alright. All of those ugly looking vomit green splotches are mud. And walking over that, or swamp rather, walking over it slows you down and potentially gives you piloting checks if you fuck it up. Or if you run in it, if I remember correctly. Also, plenty of water to mess up our movement. Looks like they've deployed a wasp up here, most of their guys in the middle, and then a panther down here. Pretty nice setup for the bot, honestly. It's kind of covering all of its corners. Our allies now also deploy, and I hope that they don't deploy on direct opposite ends of the map. I hope that they don't deploy on opposite ends of the map. Okay, they didn't. They deployed on one end, a really shitty end, because that means that we have to run through swamp to get anywhere. You dumb fucks. But I'm not going to just abandon them. That's not going to play out well with my employer. So best I can really figure to do, our own wasp has this main problem these guys do. If it gets slowed down and targeted, it can be pulped easily. I'm gonna kinda hang her back. We really need to get a new mech for her, but we just can't afford one right now. And we haven't had any decent salvage come in. We've just seen vehicles and such. Um, Man, I haven't even thought about taking any of this salvage. That grasshopper would be nice to take it home, but I really don't think it's going to be worth the risk. Just because they've got so much tonnage on us and could shred. We've got so many light mechs that they could shred to meet victory quickly. I think that we just got to take our targets as we can and take home what we can. You might have noticed earlier that we did actually manage to knock our salvage percentage down a fair amount after that fight with the vehicles. We let the Lyrans take home all of those because they were middling to fair vehicles, nothing that I'd really super want to lay claims on, and that's knocked down our percentages significantly, so we'll be able to pick some more good shit in the upcoming days. And it certainly looks like the Lyrans are going to be providing. The Dervish, even though you're a bit of a powder keg, you are one of my best pilots and best gunners. I need you front and center to be taking on these assholes. Let's see. Where did they deploy? So there's the scimitar. There's the scorpion. There's the grasshopper. That's what I really need to know. My Wolverine? Okay, so I need to pretty much figure out a path for her that allows her to jump jet without ever having to make a pilot check on these swamps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Starting here, she can jump jet into heavy cover. She'll move 5 and be in heavy cover, which should protect her well enough. And then she may just squat there the whole time, just taking bad shots. And, of course, our commander is going to be one turn out. We did moderate on initiative. We'll get to see all of the enemies before my dervish moves, and most of them except the grasshopper before my wasp. So let's see where everyone's moving. Okay, right, it's stuck. And you can get it even if you jump. So this wasp has essentially zoomed into the middle of this completely open, no cover terrain, and got himself embedded waist deep in the muck. We are lucky as hell that the enemy does not have any huge ranged weapons. Honestly, one of the things that we may need to focus on is knocking out that hunchback before it can get that AC-20 firing, because if it manages to land a shot with that, Jesus, that's just never good. We can jump jet here, and it looks like the enemy Panther and Commando are both out in the open. We don't have great shots on either of them, but we've got some shots, so we might as well start taking them. Knocking out that Panther is going to be a little difficult because the Panther is a pretty heavily armored light mech. You'll notice that it's got 10 armor everywhere, or better. Well, except the head, but head it can only go up to 9. Which means that it can take a fair amount of punishment before going down. It's a very heavily armored light. Pretty much a pocket, well, I guess it's kind of a pocket hunchback. But in any case, we can probably make some mincemeat of the commando if we focus enough fire on it, and that may be the first one we try to focus down. Our only other bet is that the wasp or the scimitar come into range quickly. Well, the wasp is fucking stuck. Oh, and yes, jump jetting into mud is an automatic stuck. That wasn't because this guy fucked up. What he fucked up on is the fact that he embedded himself with no damn cover whatsoever. As for my wasp, well, we don't have to get stuck. There are some solid chunks of land here, just ones that will mean that she doesn't have a particularly great line of sight to stuff, but with her range, she's not going to be able to hit anything anyway. So, embedded deeply here, she should be difficult to target because of all the intervening cover. Enemy scimitar is moving up hard, but unfortunately it's behind this tree cover. We're not going to be able to target it for a while. Our dervish, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually can jump right over the swamp and end up not stuck, but end up in slightly lighter cover. Since all of the enemies are probably jumping this turn, yeah, look at that. That's going to mess with their shots, and it's going to mess with my shots too, but we'll also have some range problems. I think it's pretty safe to just jump into this light cover. Fun times. Oh, they got stuck together. They're stuck buddies. Over here, we've got... No, we have no shots. We've got nothing. I'm sorry. You are such garbage. I'm sorry. More time in the simulator, please. We would have trained you, but our first attempt to actually train anyone was specifically targeted by Draconis raids and blew up a mech, so... What do you want? No shots. I don't think you're gonna have... Oh, right. You do have an LRM-10. You could start pumping out some shots. They're not great shots, but... Well, okay. Options are we take LRM-10s on this Panther. Not super great shots, but they're, 20%, 27% chance to hit. Or we take some shots on this Commando, even worse chance to hit, but the damage would be worth more. I think we'll take them on the Panther, just for starting to do some stripping. After all, any one of those LRM-10s can do potentially up to 10 damage, although 6 is roughly the average. So, but getting started on that probably will pay dividends in the future. So, missiles away. Sorry, looked ahead a little bit. It's hard not to with the big red text, But enemy blackjack firing at the wasp needs 10, gets a 10 is like an 18%, no, like a 12% chance. Gets that twice. Panther misses. That's cool. Grasshopper fires a large laser. 11, which is like a 5% chance, hits right on the head, which is a 2% chance, and destroys it entirely because the Wasp is a so lightly armored mech that it can't afford the full armor on its head. So hit damage is enough to destroy it, and so it's already melted. Luis Antonio Vega. Let's have a moment of silence for the fact that we are absolutely fugged. Alright, this mission has already become one of, at the very best, it's damage control. Every one of these guys that blows up is a minor breach. That's -1 on our contract. Every one of them that every mission we succeed at is a, minor bonus. That's a +1. So right now, the best we can do is a 0, and if another one of these guys blows up, it's going to be -2 for lost, -2 for the lost two guys, and we'll be right back in that fucking failure hole that we were in. Because you send these kinds of schmuck, well, also because Nuffle favors these guys. I hope that's not indicative of shots that come at us. I mean, they generally weren't. This guy that needed a 9 managed to miss. Anyway, not an auspicious start to this one. Well, it is auspicious, maybe. It's just not good. We did do pretty well on initiative this time, though. Uh, let's see. Oh, on call something. All right, I'll have to probably break this one up into multiple things, unless it's less than an hour long. YouTube doesn't let me put them together at that, and I'm too damn lazy to find any video editing software. So, I'll see you right back in a moment. Okay, let's get back to doing something fun. Right. So, taking a quick step back in the Wayback Machine to take a look at last round. One benefit of having an opportunity to think about this while working on an on-call problem is I got to do a bit of math and share it with you guys. So, this grasshopper fired a large laser at this wasp, managed to need an 11 and get a 12, and then got a hit on the head. So I shouted out some numbers, and they were demi-close to right, but I was kind of, consternated, so didn't quite reflect the full gravity of the situation. Getting a 10 or getting an 11 is roughly a 8.33% chance, and it's not, roughly rounded out to the second digit. I know this because I'm looking at a fucking dice calculator right now. Getting a hit on a headshot is a roll of 12 on 2d6. The way it generally works is you roll to hit. If you hit, you roll for location that you hit. The location that you hit is also rolling 2d6 and referencing a table, with most of the more likely numbers weighted towards the middle, the 7s, the 6s, the 8s, being on the torso or so. So that's generally where hits gravitate to. A 12 is a headshot. That's a 2.78 chance. Now, you'll notice that this guy rolled two 12s in a row. That's, he didn't need that to make that shot, but that is what he got. Running some quick math shows that there is a 0.0772% chance of this happening. So, let's see, like roughly a couple out of 1,000? No, that doesn't sound right either. But it was a very, very lucky shot that knocked out our friendly wasp here. So hopefully they can't get too many more of those. Fingers crossed. Anyway, we were on to round 2 and currently in the deployment phase, in which I am going to introduce my big ass heavy mech onto the field. Now, my heavy mech has a decent pilot. Honestly, she's not the best in the world. But putting her here means that she should be able to just have to traverse one unit of swamp in order to ultimately get into this fight. So, because she doesn't have jump jets. Just unfortunate truth. But okay, enemy is moving up. We've seen most of the enemy's movement. I do not actually think that they have any units that have not acted. Now, our ally has gotten firmly stuck in the mud. He is right there and is not getting extracted. So that means that he has been immobile in the middle of an empty field and has already taken some damage. And there's a grasshopper and a panther waiting right there. So we may not have an opportunity to take much damage on this mission. Now, that said, we do have a tempting target. This scimitar has moved into range, and we might be able to do some work as far as taking it out. In order to get the Crusader into battle, I gotta get him into the mud. It's an unfortunate truth. My only other option would have been a long detour, so I gotta put some trust in her ability, Happy's ability, to use that 4 piloting skill to get through the mud. It's gonna be a check of 5, and that's, a 5 is like 83% likely to hit. So, that's pretty good. That's like pretty close to well, you know 83%. That's honestly it's 100 percentiles. It's the easiest way to do a percent. So yeah, 80% chance, 83% chance specifically. Let's go. Yeah, not bogged down in the mud. That's showing it how it's done. Now we do have a slight problem over here. That grasshopper can be potentially nasty. It's got the ability to fire 4 medium lasers, and I don't want to tangle with that over much. Sadly, the only things that I have also need to get into medium range to do a lot of good damage to it. But probably what I can do, this guy's lasers are going to go out to 1, 2, 3. This is his short. 1, 2, 3. Hell, I can show it to you. Here are the range increments that he's going to be working at. This guy already jumped. That means that he's at a +3 penalty. He's base gunnery 3, though, if I remember correctly. Yeah, gunnery 3. Galib Tafik. Tafik? Anyway, gunnery 3. So he's at 6s already. If we stand out here, he's 8s. If we stand out here, he's 10s. So we want to kind of stand out here because even on 10s, these guys got a lucky shooting spree, but, you know, they can't get lucky forever, right? So, uh, what I was rolling up to is we kind of want to stay outside his medium band, but at the same time, we also want to put weapons on this scimitar tank. So let's see what we can do. Well, that gets us into our long range. And we can not quite. Let's see here. Quick check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, if we went here, we'd be able to get the mediums on that scimitar, but he'd get mediums on us. Since we might be out of this mission pretty quick anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of stop a little short. Go ahead and stop here. That's going to be +1 penalty for movement. It's not a great reduction, but we're mostly relying on range to help us out here. He'll have a good targeting on us with his large laser, but the dervish can take a large laser. And this means we'll just take walking penalties, and that'll still give us a decent shot on this scimitar. So let's get into move. Our Wolverine has a much better chance of getting into a good position. If I remember correctly... Well, no, that's also in his medium range. We'd have to sink into the swamp in order to get that our medium on and be out of his medium. And unfortunately, our Wolverine pilot here, Dagger, just ain't that good at piloting. I would not trust her with that action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the other hand, though, she can cheat a little bit, jumping all the way over here, and that should get her. Well, she's still going to be at long range, but she'd be at medium with her large laser. And that's really as good as we can ask for. Not to mention, moves her real fast, keeps her at a long range. She's going to be, yeah, at difficult shots for this hunchback too. So we'll go ahead and move her up. The Wasp is just going to have to trudge through. We can't really jump her out because that grasshopper... Well, okay, the grasshopper was only effective out to like here. So we could try to take the Wasp on a long and arduous journey. A long flank maneuver intended to ultimately kind of end up behind these lines and peck at them so that she can kind of hit and then run back into this big cover. Assuming that we'll be in this fight this long. Okay, quick props to Dagger, because she needed to roll to break free of this terrain, and it was not an easy check for her. She's a bad pilot, but she managed to get that 16%, that's what a 10 is, 16%, and actually extricate herself. Oh, actually, she just needed a 9, which is like a 27%. So, good job there. Other pilots that were better trained failed miserably. well, only slightly better trained. Let's not give them too much credit. And an enemy wasp managed to get it, fail it, despite being better trained than both of us. So, credit where credit is due. Also, managed to not get bogged down in a swamp. Excellent work. Now, unfortunately, our Crusader is going to be still well out of range of all of her good weapons, by which I mean her weapons that she can reliably fire. She's got some LRM-15s that could hit, and honestly, the only shots she's going to be able to take that have any chance of doing anything are going to be maybe, well, she could, but 12's 2.7. Let's take the 16s. They're not going to hit, so we'll just go ahead and do up to our heat level and just keep cool so that we can pour on more fire in a following turn. Over here, the Dervish, however, has some options. That Scimitar is going to be difficult to hit, no matter how you slice it. Uh, we've got better shots on that Panther, but if we actually hit the Scimitar, we're likely to do the damage to take it out. So much more difficult shots, shots that may not hit at all, because that's a pretty rough roll, and that's an even rougher one. Although, shoot, we were one short of getting some good LRM shots. On the other hand, we've got some excellent LRM shots over here. Yeah, I think the numbers speak for themselves. Even though if we land a hit on the Scimitar, it would be excellent. We've got to pour the fire where we can and try to hit this Panther. What we can do, since, let's see here, the medium laser's got a 2.7%. Both these LRM-10s are 4. If we fire all of those, we'll be up to heat 12. And that'll be 2 over. We can, essentially... yeah, let's not heat dump too much. Let's not pour on too much heat already. We'll go ahead and slap the LRMs downrange at that Panther and leave it at just that. It'll heat us over by 2, but then we can save our heat for more shooting next turn. Over here, I'm sorry, just you have so little skill. Your chances to hit on nearly everything are just so abysmal. I was kind of hoping that we'd get weight of fire, but you jumping and long range just means you're not going to be able to land anything. Best you can really ask for is to take a pot shot at this commando, and maybe you'll get lucky and hit something sensitive. The commando does have light armor all around. If she manages to land that large laser on any spot on this guy, except, well, yeah, on any spot of this guy, she'll at least strip off all the existing armor. Might not actually get into critical, but most of the spots would be well into critical. So that's the shot that we'll take. It's not going to hit, but if it does hit, it's the one that's going to provide us the most benefit. So, and if you don't have any other shots that even have a chance of hitting, if I remember correctly. Like, yeah, all of your stuff on that, well, automatic failure, but yeah, all your other stuff is just so far out of range that it doesn't have a chance at all. So, oh well. Wasp over here doesn't have a shot, but that's because we specifically keeping it from getting shot. So what do we got? Well, this was a fun mission. Enemy Panther fires PPC at Wasp 1A, hits it right on the center torso, and those things they can't even take a single PPC. It blows it the fuck up. That's 2 more of our allies' garbage cans that are on fire. Grasshopper takes more shots at the stuck wasp. Everyone targeted the stuck wasp. Oh Jesus. Oh God. Oh fuck. It's horrible. It's terrible. Oh, we dished out some damage on the Panther, but it's just so fucking ugly what just happened to that stuck in the mud wasp, who just essentially, with his battle buddy, flew up and over, scooted into and sank waist deep into the muck, stuck fast, held there, and turned into just fucking target practice for the Draconis forces. So, our guys, we're fogged. We had to keep 1/4 of our. We had to have less than 1/4 of our own forces destroyed, and unfortunately, our forces handed themselves to our enemy on a silver platter. This is a slash defeat for us. We're done with the game. This match is over. And hey, good news, I'll be able to combine these together using Google's video editor. So what went wrong with that match? We had 2 turns in it. I literally had 2 turns of movement and they destroyed a mech a turn because our mechs served themselves up on the silver platter. Now, let's be fair. This loss absolutely was not my fault. There is nothing I could have done. I did not overextend myself. I barely even acted. This was all honestly, okay, yes, it's my fault, but it's all my fault because I took that integrated command. This is a big learning experience for X company. You can't trust anyone else. And also get someone who can write contracts, which I think we've got now. I do think that we've got the person, the HR admin guy, no, just normal admin guy that is responsible for helping us out on contracts because it's criminy jiminy's, this is frustrating as hell. You have no idea. Now, granted, we weren't in a great position anyway. We were outgunned significantly. The enemy had some nasty mechs, and although we had decent tonnage, we were also significantly out battle valued because the enemy had a skilled pilot in a heavy mech that we just couldn't field. Firebrand Lance, unfortunately, is really designed for taking on, well, typical recon missions, ones where you see shitloads of vehicles and light mechs, and then you go and you punch a couple of them and you leave. We could have made a fight of this. In fact, I have no doubt that on our own, we could have stuck it out and destroyed the 2 units that we needed to win. I am reasonably confident of that, but it would have been a bit nastier and it would require a lot more of just the pivoting around that I've had to do with that light mech. I'm not a fan of that stinger that we still have. Case in point, what happened to both those stingers. One destroyed by a headshot, very unlikely. The other one destroyed by a PPC shot on its torso, pretty damn likely. It is extremely likely that you can take 10 points of damage on your center torso. And the fact that you have a mech, well, okay, fair's fair. He did take some damage on his center torso previously, so the single shot would not have been enough to kill him. But it was just a matter of countdown, and that PPC wasn't everything that killed him. He got fucking ripped to pieces. So rip this contract. We're still going to be the Lyrans are still going to be complaining at Captain Kobe long into the night about how they watched their pilots jump into the mud and then get shot to pieces. Why weren't we fucking doing anything? And we just kind of have to sit it there and let the veins in our forehead bulge outwards, anime style, while we listen to this tirade by some guy who's maybe got 2 brain cells to rub together. Anyway, at this point, I think that the commentary on this match was longer than the match itself, so let's just finish on a low note, and we'll go straight on to the next one and hope for better results. See you next time.